When Axis pilots first saw the American P-40 Warhawk, they laughed. It looked outdated, clunky and small compared to their sleek Messerschmitts and Zeros. But laughter turned to shock when that toy plane ripped through their formations at treetop level, its shark-toothed grin blazing across the desert sky. Stay until the end to learn how the P-40 Warhawk, dismissed by experts and mocked by its enemies, became one of the most feared and beloved fighters of the entire Second World War. A fighter no one wanted. The P-40 Warhawk began as an underdog. When it first rolled out in 1938, it was already considered obsolete, outdated, and not up to standards. It lacked a powerful supercharger, could not climb like the latest European fighters, and its top speed was modest. Even the US Army Air Corps had its doubts if the P-40 was a viable option to keep up with the German Messerschmitt Bf 109, Focke-Wulf FW 190 or the Japanese Zero from Mitsubishi. But America was rearming fast, and the P-40 was readily available. It was simple to build, reliable to maintain, and rugged enough to handle dirt airstrips and harsh climates. Nobody knew then that those same traits would make it a legend and a feared foe for its enemies. Enter the shark mouth. When American volunteer pilots arrived in China to support the Chinese Air Force, they wanted an edge, both psychological and tactical. They painted gaping shark mouths on their P-40s, inspired by British Tomahawk squadrons in North Africa. The result was terrifying to look at. Japanese pilots who first encountered them reported seeing snarling machines that came out of the sun. The image of the flying sharks became one of the most recognizable sights of the war and got into the heads of enemy pilots. These men, outnumbered, under-equipped, but fiercely determined, showed the world what the P-40 Warhawk could do, built like a brawler. Unlike many delicate and modern enemy fighters, the P-40 could take punishment and keep flying. Its heavy armor and rugged airframe absorbed hits that would easily destroy other planes. It dove faster than almost anything in the sky and could pull out just in time to strike again. Pilots learned to use those strengths for their advantage. They avoided turning fights with agile Zeros or Bf 109s and instead attacked in swift dives and climbs. Boom and zoom. Hit once, escape, climb again, strike again. It became a deadly rhythm that frustrated Axis pilots who couldn't keep up with its fierce pattern of attack. The Desert Hawks. Across the world, British and Commonwealth squadrons in North Africa also adopted the Warhawk, calling it the Tomahawk or Kitty Hawk. In the scorching deserts, the P-40 proved itself tougher and more durable than anyone expected. Its engines resisted sand, heat and dust better than almost any aircraft in the theatre. When German and Italian fighters arrived, they soon learned the P-40 Warhawk was far from being easy prey. It could dive straight toward the desert floor, level out, and vanish in a haze of dust, only to reappear behind its pursuer moments later. For its enemies, it was a frustrating, and sometimes their last experience with the P-40 Warhawk. Feared by the enemy, Axis intelligence began warning pilots, Do not underestimate the P-40 Warhawk. It might not climb well, but in a dive or a head-on attack, it was lethal. Its .650 caliber machine guns packed a punch that shredded bombers and fighters alike. German ace Hans-Joachim Marseille, known as the Star of Africa, once admitted he hated fighting P-40 Warhawk. He said their pilots fought like lions, and their planes could take everything and keep firing. That reputation spread quickly. The little toy plane had earned respect even amongst the best pilots, an icon of American grit. By 1943, newer fighters like the P-38, P-47 and P-51 were entering service, but the P-40 kept flying on every front, from the Pacific Islands to the Russian steppe. It became the symbol of early American resolve, tough, dependable, and willing to fight anywhere. Pilots who flew it loved it. They trusted it to bring them home, even when riddled with holes. Many said the Warhawk felt alive, a scrappy underdog that refused to quit. The legacy of the Warhawk. By the end of World War II, more than 13,000 P-40 Warhawk had been built. They served in over 24 air forces and scored thousands of casualties. But perhaps its greatest victory was moral. It proved that courage, discipline, and tactical thinking could turn an underestimated machine into a champion. The P-40 Warhawk wasn't the fastest or the most advanced, but it was there when it mattered most. It fought the early battles, held the line, and bought time for the Allies to regroup and push forward, making it a crucial puzzle piece to gain the upper hand in air combat. That's why, even decades later, when veterans see the curved shark mouth of a Warhawk, they smile. They remember the little fighter that refused to be laughed at. This is a true World War II story, because sometimes it's not about the machines, but the stubborn spirit of men operating them. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more true World War II stories.